I don't know about you, but I'm tired of all the prepping channels saying, complaining about the rising cost of food. But a lot of them not explaining what can you do about it. I mean, we all know prices are going up, right? Yeah. We go grocery shopping, we get our receipts, and it can be shock, right? So today, this video isn't so much telling you about all the rising food prices, but it's trying to come up with a strategy, what I and you can do to keep our food budget in check. But first, I do have to give you just a little statistics on food price increase. Some items, well, they're going sharply up. Some are actually coming a little down, and some go up and down and up and down. So here's what the latest report said. According to the USDA's May 2026 food price outlook, overall food prices are predicted to rise 3.4% in 2026. Well, that's not too bad, right? But some categories moving much more than that. Farm level vegetables, 56.3% higher in April compared to April of last year. Farm level milk was 13.2% higher. Wholesale beef was 14.2% higher. And my personal favorite, sugar and sweets, were 6.3% higher. And farm level wheat, well, it was 7.9% higher. So there's the bad news. My message is, don't panic buy. Be smart in what you prep. Now, one of the things I like to do is not just look at individual items, is look at items that I need for the meals that my family loves. So I'm looking more at a global meal picture than just individual items that might sit on your pantry shelf. And now, well, I'm looking at items that I can use in my family's favorite meals that don't break the bank. If I'm storing rice and beans and all the other things we're told we should store, it's just ingredients. But the important thing is, are those ingredients in a meal that my family loves? Well, then, store them. I like to think of my pantry ingredients as possibilities. What can I make with them? And hopefully they all have many, many uses. One thing over the years I've fallen prey to is convenience foods. Because I worked full-time. Now I only work part-time, but I worked full-time, raised 3 children. My husband, who was usually gone during the week, only was home on weekends. And I also made videos, right? And taught at the local university. So time, well, it was precious to me. And then you start thinking more and more about using convenience foods. And now, well, I'm trying to cut back because I do have more time. And more time means I'll save money at the grocery store. Think of refrigerated biscuits. Yeah, so easy. I always have some. Here we can have some crescent biscuits really fast. But you know what? I also have all the ingredients in my pantry that I could make these biscuits. Sometimes I'm going to use these. Sometimes I'm going to make them. Another thing is my husband's packaged salad. Yeah, it's easy. Your greens are all cut up, ready to go. But at what additional cost? So often we're paying someone else to wash it, chop it, package it, maybe season it or bread it. Like, how about these? Frozen chicken strips. Yeah, I can make these myself. Why am I buying these? Well, basically, I don't care to eat these, but my grandchildren do, so I just keep them on hand when they're here. But you know what? I could make up a bunch ahead of time and freeze my own. Now stay with me. I'm not saying you're going to completely give up convenience foods, because that might not just be possible. But think about what you could do to cut down on buying convenience foods. And then make sure you have those items in your pantry. Oh, and one more thing. Convenience, yep, these taste good. But I have a video where you can dehydrate your own potato slices and they will keep for years and years, and then you can make your own wonderful tasting loaded baked potato bake. So easy. I do have a link to the video below. Here's another simple example. I use a lot of chicken broth when I'm cooking. I use it when I'm making vegetables, when I'm making soup, maybe some meat dishes, some rice dishes. But you know what? Sometimes I could use just some chicken bouillon instead. Yes, this is saltier. Yes, this tastes better. But I should look at what recipes that this would be fine in. Like maybe making chicken rice, right? This would probably be just great. For my soup though, I would like to use this. Or, even more important, I make my own broth too, but I can't seem to make enough, so I have to buy additional. Oh yeah, and should I mention this? A lot more expensive per cup than this. And along that line, one of the things I like to do is get out a big freezer bag and store different bones. Maybe beef bones in one bag and it's poultry bones, be it chicken or turkey, in another. And then I add any leftover veggie scraps we might have, and I freeze that. I keep on adding to it. And then, once I get that bag full, I can make my own great tasting broth. And of course, another example, beans. Canned beans, they're very convenient. They're ready to use in a recipe. Dried beans, on the other hand, well, you gotta soak them, and it takes time. Now, it's a good idea to buy those dried beans because they save you a lot of money. And if you're like me, you can up your own beans. So yeah, you don't have to buy these. It's really easy as long as you have a pressure canner, and it saves you money. And you still have convenience. Something I'm always on the look for is dual purpose food. Think of roasting chicken, roasting turkey, a ham. Well, those make a great Sunday dinner, right? With all the fixins. And those leftovers, well, they can become great sandwiches. They can be used in casseroles, maybe a chicken or ham salad, and fried rice. You can make pot pie with them. And of course, you can use that carcass and make great soup. So, when I look at the price of any of these, I'm thinking about all the additional meals I can make. If this is the kind of practical preparedness that you love, well, please hit that like button. And I hope you're a subscriber, because my purpose is to help people prepare in a calm, relevant way. So, I invite you, subscribe. Another thing to look at is bread. If your family goes through a lot of bread, does it make sense to bake your own or buy store-bought? Well, to me, it kind of depends on what type of bread your family likes. You can get real cheap bread, but that's not bread to me. I like bread with a nice crisp crust. And to me, that means homemade. But to be honest, my husband and I, we don't go through nearly as much bread as we did before. So in that case, well, baking your own bread might make sense, but you just want to make sure you always have the ingredients on hand. The flour, the yeast, the oil, the sugar, all of that in your pantry. And yes, it takes more time, but you know what else? Well, if you have those ingredients, you can also make rolls instead of buying them, right? Other biscuits, and maybe even cinnamon roll. So make sure you have the ingredients for baking bread, even if you usually don't bake bread, because you can make a lot of other things with those same ingredients. Now beef, well, it's been escalating in price. So the simple solution would be, right, just cut back on the amount of meat you eat. Yeah. That would probably be a divorce thing for my husband. He loves meat, and a lot of it. So what else can we do? I think you have to look at how can you make the meat you have go further. So maybe you're making chili and you add double the amount of beans and half the amount of ground beef. I bet your family won't even notice. Or sloppy joes. How about made with maybe 3/4 of the ground beef and the other quarter lentils? Nutritious and tasty. And in your meatloaf, well, how about using more oats instead of ground beef and ground pork? Extend the meat you have. It's kind of like instead of meat being the main event, it's the flavor builder. So what kind of meat fits this strategy? Well, we already talked about beef stretching chili, and you can also use corn and other vegetables in it again and use less meat. And we talked about the lentil sloppy joes, but how about tuna salmon patties? I mean, crushed crackers, breadcrumbs can extend this a long, long way and still taste good. And rice bowls are popular, and you can make them with just a little bit of meat. Put in your beans, your salsa, your corn, your seasoning, and again, you'll have a tummy filling, great tasting meal. And of course, if you have leftover rice, well, it's a gold mine. You can make fried rice. Put some of those leftover vegetables in there, just a little meat, maybe a little egg, and fry it up, and you have a great fried rice meal. And of course, you can always have what I call breakfast for dinner, like pancakes. You can usually make those very inexpensively, or biscuits and gravy, one of my favorites. So be creative. In many of our freezers, I think we will find some of these heat and eat microwave meals because they're fast, convenient. Maybe we can take them to work and we still have a hot meal. But again, at what cost? Now, one of the things I do, I make up my own freezer meal. In this case, I had a very low-cost turkey that I made a bunch of things from, and then I froze up, here's my cooked turkey and my dressing. And I have mashed potatoes and gravy. Well, it's in another freezer packet. So I can have my own freezer meal. And believe me, much better tasting than one I would buy in the store. And at much lower cost. Something else I'm trying, when both my husband and I was working, life was busy, income was good, I would just buy whatever I wanted. And I wouldn't pay that much attention to the price. Well, now my husband's retired, I'm retired part-time, things change. So those grocery prices become more important. But I have to learn what really is a good price. So trying to track on my phone what I think is a good price. Here's the normal price. This is really a sales price. So when I see it, I can buy it and put it in the freezer. Because my husband is terrible. He'll see like a BOGO deal, buy one, get the other one half off, and he immediately thinks it's a good deal without doing the math, and it might end up just cents below what the normal price is for both. So I'm trying to do my homework and have that information on my phone with me when I shop. So what am I not doing? Well, definitely not panic buying. Not buying a whole bunch of beans, dried beans, because I've been told I should by other influencers, because to be honest, we only eat maybe beans every 3 weeks or so. We are not big bean eaters. So it doesn't make sense for us. And I guess what I'm saying is my goal is not to own the most food, but instead have a pantry that will give me the best meals for the best value for my family. So yep, food prices, they're rising. So let's focus on what we can do. We can stock smarter, build what I like to call a recipe first pantry, and maybe we gotta trade some convenience for our own time and learn how we can stretch our expensive ingredients in a recipe, so we end up choosing pantry foods that give us options. I can't control the prices, but I can control how I shop, how I stock, how I cook, and how much flexibility I build into my pantry. Because to me, well, I think flexibility is the key. So now, time to hear from you. Please post down below what is one of your favorite or favorites, you can do multiple, recipes that you use to stretch ingredients in your family. Post them down below because we all learn from each other. And if you want to look at this a little further, well, here's a video on my pantry reset.